In 209 BC, during the Second Punic War, Roman general Scipio Africanus launched a bold assault on the Spanish city of New Carthage, a crucial Carthaginian stronghold. His first attack, staged from the eastern and southern walls, failed. But instead of retreating and regrouping, Scipio did something unexpected. He ordered a second attack later that same day. The Carthaginian defenders had already spent much of their ammunition and energy during the morning's fighting. Believing the Romans had withdrawn for the day, they consolidated their forces at the southern and eastern walls, leaving the north lightly defended. Scipio's plan now came into play. He had secretly dispatched 500 elite troops to sneak through a lagoon on the city's northern side. These soldiers scaled the walls unnoticed and then opened the eastern gate from inside. Once the Romans surged through, the defenders were quickly overwhelmed. After the battle, two men claimed the honor of being the first over the wall: Quintus Trebellius, a centurion of the 4th Legion, and Sextus Digitus, a marine who had fought from the sea. The argument grew intense, nearly erupting into a brawl between legionaries and marines. To prevent civil strife, Scipio appointed judges who ruled that both men had entered the city simultaneously. Both received the corona muralis, a rare double award. The corona muralis, or mural crown, was a golden headpiece shaped like a city wall, complete with battlements and towers. It was one of the most coveted awards in the Roman military. Comparable in prestige to today's Medal of Honor or the Victoria Cross, it was awarded only to the first soldier who scaled enemy fortifications during a siege. But in Roman society, the significance was far greater than just military honor. It wasn't just a decoration, it was a social escalator. Winners of the mural crown became instant celebrities. They received public recognition, large cash rewards, and political leverage. Their names were inscribed in records, monuments, and public speeches. Their family status rose with them, sometimes for generations. Importantly, the crown was rarely awarded posthumously. This made it even more difficult to earn. Many who tried never lived to claim the honor, and yet soldiers still vied for it. In ancient warfare, capturing a fortified city often determined the outcome of a campaign. Sieges were brutal, slow, and costly. Cities could hold out for weeks, months, even years. Supplies ran low, disease spread, morale crumbled on both sides. But if the attackers managed to breach the wall, especially early, it could end everything. That's why scaling the wall was one of the most dangerous yet crucial acts in a siege. Climbing ladders under fire meant no cover, no backup, and facing gravity as your enemy. Ladders could be pushed over, projectiles rained down. Even if you reached the top, you'd be alone, surrounded and outnumbered. And still Romans climbed. This moment, the first man over the wall, was when battles were won or lost. If one man could hold the position long enough for others to join, the siege could end right there. That single act could change the outcome of a war. To understand why anyone would willingly take on such a suicidal task, we need to understand Roman values. Central to Roman identity was virtus, a term that meant more than just virtue. It encompassed bravery, masculinity, excellence, and honor. It was the standard by which Roman men were measured. In Roman society, military success wasn't just respected, it was necessary. It was a path to political office, economic power, and social status. Rome's elite were soldier politicians. Generals weren't just battlefield leaders, they were future consuls and senators. Every act of courage could be parlayed into a seat of power. Military awards like the Corona Muralis served as visible proof of this honor. They were worn in parades, displayed in homes, and immortalized in family tombs. Even for lower-ranking soldiers, such an award could be life-changing. A centurion or marine who won the mural crown might rise through the ranks, earn land, or enter elite social circles. Their children might receive better marriages, political appointments, or education. In a society obsessed with legacy, the corona muralis was a golden ticket. The case of Quintus Trebellius illustrates this perfectly. Before the Siege of New Carthage, his family, the gens Trebelia, was barely mentioned in Roman records. But after his award, the name gained recognition. In time, his descendants rose to prominence, and in 55 AD, a member of the family, Marcus Trebellius Maximus, was elected consul of Rome. This kind of upward mobility through military valor was rare but possible. And the reward wasn't just personal, it transformed the soldier's entire family lineage. This tradition didn't end with Rome. In the Middle Ages, the first knight over the wall might be rewarded with lands or a noble title. These early feats of bravery helped define what it meant to be a knight. But things changed in the early modern era. As firearms, cannons, and regimented tactics became dominant, individual heroism gave way to discipline and cohesion. Standing out could even become a liability. The age of lone glory seekers charging the wall was over. By today's standards, climbing into near-certain death for a crown seems irrational, but in the context of ancient Rome, it made perfect sense. Roman soldiers weren't just fighting for survival, they were fighting for eternal honor, family legacy, and a place in history. The corona muralis was more than a decoration, it was a symbol of ultimate bravery and the highest reward their society could offer. And so when the moment came, when the ladders were raised and the signal given, Roman soldiers didn't hesitate. They dashed forward, risking everything to be the first on the wall. Because in that moment, they weren't just climbing a wall, they were climbing into legend.